All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, June 25th. We got a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video like we always do. When I go through each and every one of these games, I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, all of my final plays, so what I'm actually rolling with myself, those plays are going to be in the pinned comment of this video, the comment that's pinned to the top of the comment section. Yesterday, we are owed a cha-ching. We are owed a little bit of crowd noise here. We have a nice 7-1 night. It's good to be back. This is our first day back from being away for the weekend, so we're doing the road videos and whatnot. Finally had our resources. Finally able to sit down, head down, get in the lab, and cook. 7-1 night. Now, I will say, the Phillies' first five, money line and run line, and then the Red Sox money line and first five -1.5 were half unit plays. So I guess if you take those away, it's more like a 5-1 night money wise. But you know what? Still, 7 greens out there, 1x. We love to see it. One more cha-ching because I'm feeling it. I know I'm jinxing the hell out of myself now bragging about this, but a damn good night last night. In terms of the ride of the day, we didn't have one yesterday because we're just kind of getting back in our groove and whatnot, but let's bring it back today, guys. If you don't know what the ride of the day is, all you got to do is use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me your favorite play of the day. I'm picking one person and I jump on board with your pick. I'm putting my money where your mouth is, jumping on board with your pick, and then you get a shout out in the next video, win or loss, and a shout out over on my X at EvGuyBoston. Make sure to follow me there. Make sure to follow me on all my socials. They're going to be rotating throughout the show here. But yeah, use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Now let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. First, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I want you to smash that like button because we had such a good day last night. We had a fastball coming right down the middle. Send it over the pond, way over the wall, all right? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Game number 1 here. We got Baltimore taking on Cleveland. On the mound for Baltimore is going to be Cole Irvin going up against Logan Allen. I would say there's a slight edge here for Baltimore's pitching with Cole Irvin at home as well. Logan Allen really hasn't looked all that tremendous. We've backed him a few times, but he's just been kind of, I would say even worse than meh. You guys know I like to throw meh around, but at the same time, Cole Irvin, as of late, hasn't been all that great, right? So I think you do have, that's why I said a slight pitching edge. If you look at the season numbers, it looks like Baltimore has the stud on the mound, and Cleveland has a guy that's going to get tagged up. But as of late, Baltimore hasn't looked all that tremendous. Now, they've played two bad, he's a pitch against the Yankees and the Braves, and Yankees both put up, I think, 5+ runs on him. But nonetheless, I do think that we're still, if we have a bigger sample size, Baltimore is a better pitcher. But the batting edge does come into play here with Logan Allen. And I will say this, even back to Cole Irvin for a second, he pitches really well against lefties. There's not that many lefties in this lineup. I think we have 2 lefties in this Cleveland lineup, so maybe even still the pitching edge is kind of equal here. But in terms of batting, we see Cleveland, kind of middle of the pack when it comes to batting against lefties. Baltimore against lefties, honestly, bottom 5 in terms of most categories. 28th in average, 28th in WRC+, 28th in OBP, OPS 27th, ISO 22nd, slugging 27th. So this could be a spot to hammer a big-time money line underdog here, Cleveland, +130. Their bullpen is a little bit taxed, so maybe we're looking at a first 5, but I don't know if it becomes a final play on my end, but I really can't necessarily make a strong case and argument to get to Baltimore here at that price tag, the way Cole Irvin's been pitching, as well as the fact that, their batting just has been so dormant. I almost bet them yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't, right? Cole Irvin also is going to throw 45% fastball. It's his main pitch. Cleveland against fastball second in runs above average per 100 fastballs thrown in the last 30 days. So give me Cleveland in this spot. I also don't mind the over. I know I'm just ragged on the offense of Baltimore and whatnot, but neither one of these pitchers have been all that impressive as of late. You have 2 bullpens that are, Cleveland's bullpen, I would say, is taxed, but Baltimore's, a few guys went yesterday as well, so I'll lean towards the over. But if we were to make a real play in this game, if I had a gun to my head, I do not. I think I would go Cleveland money line, just because of that value at that +130 there. In terms of player props, nothing that jumps out to me. I don't mind Tyler Freeman under 1.5 hits, under 1.5 total bases, or under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. His batting average drops to 176 against lefties. Against fastballs, his WOBA drops as well. So this could be a spot in which we target that. But right now, Caesars has the best value at -150. Other books in in the minus 160. So we'll see what we can get it at. But yeah, Tyler Freeman under 1.5 bases could be a look for us as well. All right, next up, Detroit taking on Philadelphia, and I went back and forth in this one all morning. Honestly, if you didn't go back and forth in this one, I feel like you're the psychopath, because you have two really good pitchers on the mound, two good left-handers. You have Tariq Screwball on the mound for Detroit, going up against Ranger Suarez for Philly here. And, you know, both these teams, obviously, the offenses are decent as well. I would give the offensive edge, or at least definitely the offensive consistency award to Philadelphia here compared to what we've seen out of Detroit. And that's ultimately what made up my mind in terms of this money line play. I'm going to lean towards Philadelphia just, again, because of their offense. In terms of where I'd actually go as my main play in this game, I probably would consider the first 5 under 4.5. Like put my trust. My trust is right here. Here you go, Ranger Suarez. Here you go, Tariq Screwball. Do your thing out there. You know what I mean? So I think that this is a spot for a first 5 under, just due to the fact that you have two amazing left-handers on the mound. It scares me a little bit that both these teams can bat lefties all that well, but these are two like Cy Young-esque guys. You know, screw the offense, screw the numbers with those offenses. Let me trust Tariq Screwball and Ranger Suarez here. So I'll take the first 5 under 4.5. Little juicy at minus 150 right now. You can go under 4, you know, kind of have a push potential to land on 4 there for minus 125 over on MGM. Or again, you pay that minus 150 on MGM right now. But that's probably going to be my main spot in this game. And then no major player props here. I could consider, you know, as we further research throughout the day, some unders just overall from batting perspectives, because again, I just trust both these pitchers. But sometimes you have these two studs on the mound and it's like, oh, we're gonna have a good game, right? And it's either lopsided or one pitcher has a bad day, that type of thing. Like, it does kind of worry me to some degree that Tariq Screwball, his last couple starts have not been that great, but it's against Houston and Atlanta. But at the same time, Philly's good offense. But nonetheless, I'm trusting that he's gonna get back on track here. Give me the first 5 under. And like I said, a potential look at Philly's money line, but I think that under is the way I trust both teams. All right, guys, if you are not on Sleeper yet, I swear you are missing out. I tell you guys all the time, Sleeper is my favorite DFS player prop app, and they have a free square. Breanna Stewart, I know we're talking MLB, but they have a free WNBA square today if you sign up for new users. Their points line is down 2.5. If you don't know what Sleeper is, it's pretty much a player prop app where you have all of the players, you know, strikeouts, hits allowed, all of their normal player prop stats, and you pick more or less on their projection. You combine 2 or more, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players into one slip like a parlay, right? And what's great about Sleepers, you don't have to get them all right. The more you get right, the more you get paid out. And best of all, if you use the link in the pinned comment or use the link in the description, or just sign up using code GUYBOSTON when downloading the Sleeper app, you're going to get your first deposit 100% match. So you get the great app, the app that offers more lines, more plays than anyone else, the app that offers more discounts, like this one, free Breanna Stewart Square, and you get that deposit matched all by using that link. Go check out Sleeper, guys. I use this thing every single day. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you know that. Go check it out. That link in the pinned comment. If you're not on Sleeper yet and it's available in your state, quit sleeping. Go check it out. Link in the pinned comment. Let's go ahead and jump back into the rest of these games. We got Tampa Bay taking on Seattle. This is kind of a weird one here, and I don't really know where to come out. So everything I'm saying here, I guess take with a grain of salt. Tampa Bay has won 4 straight against Seattle. They won yesterday 4-3. Today you have Luis Castillo on the mound for Seattle, which usually I'd be like, oh, let's go. Like, that's awesome, right? Luis Castillo has not really been all that trustworthy. His last game against Cleveland, he went 5 innings, 2 home runs, 4 strikeouts. That's it. 2 walks. You know what I mean? So going up against Lytle, who has kind of been hit or miss as well. So I think both these teams here kind of scare me to some degree. And then all of a sudden you look at the total, it's at 7.5, and I'm like, what's going on here, right? Like, I would have thought this would have been an over game. So kind of a toss-up if you ask me. I guess I'll lean towards the Mariners because I do think that they have the better pitcher on the mound. This is a Tampa Bay team that really doesn't hit the fastball all that well. We know Castillo's going to come with the fastball. You could see here that Tampa Bay 24th in runs above average, per 1,000 fastballs thrown in the last 100 fastballs they've seen. So I guess that's the direction I lean. In terms of a total, I wanted to lean over, but I'm almost thinking of second guessing myself. So screw it. I'll sound the psycho alert alarm because this brain is a psycho. I'm going to lean under in this spot as well. We saw a low-scoring game yesterday. We even cashed the first 5 under. Neither one of these offenses scare me. I guess it makes sense to lean towards the under, but the way that these two teams have been playing or pitching, these two players have been pitching, like it scares me to take the under. So kind of fading my fear here. Fading my fear. I love the sound of that. Comment fade your fear if you made it this far into the video. But I'm fading my fear here. I'm going to lean towards the under, and I guess a slight lean towards Seattle on the money line. In terms of player props, I have a couple here that I'm considering. King of the bases is out and about yet again. Jorge Polanco, J.P. Crawford, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, all under 1.5 bases could be considerations. They're all trending in that direction, and I do like the matchup today, but that's assuming that Lytle has a decent game, right? Like I just listed 4 Mariners that I like their under in bases, so we're not going to roll with all 4 of those. I really got to pick and choose. Keep an eye in the pinned comment to see which one we ultimately roll with, or ones we ultimately roll with. All right, Red Sox taking on Toronto. Red Sox got it done for us 2 different ways yesterday. We had them on the first 5 run line, that cashed, and then we had them on the full game money line, and that was an absolute electric game. Shout out to Jarren Duran for the walk-off there. Today we have Brayan Bello on the mound for the Sox, going up against Kevin Gausman for Toronto. Gausman, though he's been shaky this year, not the Gausman we know, he's been pretty damn good on the road when you look at it here. On the road this season, .96 whip, 2.92 FIP, an expected FIP of 3 flat, an average against of 201. So, and his strikeout percentage goes up about 3 points as well. So I do think that we're in for probably a good Gausman game. And I almost don't want to just step in front of this train that is the Red Sox right now. But to me, I want to see Brayan Bello show a little bit more consistency. And I guess when I say consistency, good pitching consistency, right? He'll have a good game. Like he just pitched against Toronto. In fact, we just saw the same exact pitcher matchup. He went 6 innings, 7 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks, only 2 walks, no home runs, right? It's like, oh, good job. But can he do it 2 times in a row against the same team? Not exactly sure yet. So this probably is a spot in which I see value. I honestly do see value in Toronto first 5. You're going to get decent odds for that, some plus money as well. But like I said, do I really want to step in front of the train that is the Red Sox right now? Most likely not. So overall, this is definitely gonna be a Toronto lean for me, but I don't think it makes its way to being a final play. In terms of a total in this spot, it's another one where I kind of am scratching my head because I'm thinking Brayan Bello doesn't have the best of days. So Toronto probably scores, maybe 4 or 5 runs at minimum. So maybe in terms of a total, I lean toward Toronto team total over. But again, doesn't it feel so weird to bet against a Red Sox team that's been on fire as of late? So that's the way I'd play the total, a Toronto team total over. And then in terms of player props, I have 2 here. I don't mind looking at Danny Jansen. Again, he didn't play yesterday. Actually, in fact, he subbed in defensively, but never gotten at bat, so our under 1.5 bases was a push. But I don't mind his under 1.5 bases here today. Bello's been good against righties. He is a righty. Bello's going to throw a sinker, changeup, and slider. That's where we're going to get kind of nervous here. He hits sinkers really well, but you know what? We might roll the dice there. And then the other one would be Brayan Bello, under 16.5 outs. He's hit the under in 6 of his last 10 games. He's hit in 9 of 13 starts this season. And he did hit the over against Toronto. Again, he really hasn't done that. He hasn't done that in back-to-back starts yet. So I don't think Bello's going to have the best of days. But as a Red Sox fan, I'm kind of hoping I am wrong, right? Cincinnati taking on Pittsburgh. If you watched yesterday's video, I was like, this is the most unattractive game to me on the board, right? And then I went through and leaned in every positive and correct direction. I had Cincinnati. I had the over. I had a couple player props I liked. That's how sports betting works, right? We did hit Brian Hayes under 1.5 base in this game, so we did have at least a hit in this game. But I was like, I have no read on this series or this game, blah blah blah, and then proceeded to say everything correctly. But you know what? Like I said, that's how sports betting works. But we have Hunter Green on the mound today for the Reds, going up against Mitch Keller. Green has not been that great at home, but Mitch Keller hasn't been that great on the road. So I don't think that it's going to be a pitcher's duel by any means. But I'm going to lean exactly what I did yesterday. I'm going to go Cincinnati because they're the home team, and I do think that they have slightly better offense here, as well as the over, because I don't think either one of these pitchers is totally, I would say totally, absolutely locked in. Mitch Keller's looked very good, and don't get me wrong, he's looked good even as of late, last, 4 or 5 starts, and against the Reds. And Hunter Green is coming off of a 6 1/3 shutout performance against Pittsburgh last time out. but I'm almost betting the exact opposite of that. Like, these two teams are so inconsistent that all that's fine and dandy, right? They both pitched well against the Reds. They both pitched well in their recent starts. And what's going to happen today? Probably like an 11-5 game again. So, again, this is this is the same thing as yesterday. Not my favorite series. Not my favorite matchup. I'm going to lean Cincinnati and the over and probably call it quits at that, even though we did hit the basis prop yesterday. No major player props in this one for me. But I don't want to see the comments, oh, it was a 1-0 game. You said it was definitely going to be an over. No, I didn't. I'm saying this is by far and away the series on the board that I have the least amount of feeling for, or even reads analytically, and somehow we got it right yesterday. Who knows if it'll happen again today. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we're psycho enough to make a play on it, but I don't envision that. All right, Subway Series Mets taking on the Yanks here. Mets playing some damn good baseball. They took 2 of 3 against Chicago, 2 of 3 against Texas. They've won 8 of their last 10 games here. New York on a slide. Red hot Red Sox, good Baltimore team, losing 2 of 3 against Atlanta, so maybe there's some sort of an excuse built in based on the competition they've had. To me, they have Garrett Cole on the mound today. I still think that, he looked pretty good in his season debut. Only pitched 4 innings, but obviously coming back from injury and whatnot. So I think that I'm gonna lean Yankees just because I do believe that they have the better offense, even though the Mets have been terrific as of late. But David Peterson's on the mound for the Mets, and I don't care that he's looked decent in a few starts here. Still not a guy that I can totally get behind. So I'm going to lean towards the road favorite here, the Yankees. I just hope that Garrett Cole kind of has everything going here. In his career against this Mets team, he has 147 plate appearances against, 173 batting average against. That's great. A WOBA of 252. The expected WOBA only jumps to 306. Expected batting average of 222. I think it could be a good spot. But again, we're looking at a guy that's just coming back, 1 start under his belt. Like, could be a little risky, but give me the Yankees here in this spot. In terms of what I like from a total, I'll lean towards the under. I think that this is going to be like a Yankees 5-3 or 4-3 type of a spot because, again, I'm betting on the Yankees offense, but the Yankees don't bat lefties as well as they do righties. So there is some, valid points being made there that, yes, they could have an offensive night, but it's not necessarily going to be an offensive explosion type of a night, right? At least that's where my head is at. So give me slightly lean towards the under, but Yankees money line could be a final play because you're getting decent value. -135 for them over on Caesars right now is if you ask me, decent value, for Garrett Cole on the mound, assuming that he pitches more than 4 innings. All right, guys, I'm always getting the question, what is the player prop app you use? Where are you finding all these visuals when I'm posting on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter? And that app is called Outlier. It's my favorite player prop app out there. I'm on the game screen right now because I wanted you to be able to see. You could see game trends, look at public betting. But when we head over to the player prop screen, this is absolutely goated. So we're in the Yankees and Mets game right now, the one we just talked about. You can look at all of the plays that are available for that game. You can dig in, for example, Aaron Judge under 1.5 bases, right? He's hit the under in 6 of his last 10 in only 50% of this season. Last 5, last 10, last 20, all that good stuff. You can even look at last year, right? But what I like is the advanced analytics down below. Matchup stats here. Okay, him against a left-handed pitcher. Okay, his batting average drops. Green is good, right? Green means good, red means bad. Batting average with balls in play drops. His ISO drops. Extra base hit percentage is up a little bit, so it's red. David Peterson against right-handed batters because Judge is a righty. You can kind of go through. You can even look at the pitch mix here. You can see David Peterson, 30.8% sinker, fastball, slider, all of the pitches he throws go one by one, seeing what Judge likes to hit based on his K percentage and his weighting on base average. And then what's really cool is the heat map. Heat maps are crucial in baseball, guys. Peterson likes to throw his sinker down and away. Judge only hits it when it is mid and inside. So it's really good to note those types of things. I have a link for Outlier in the pinned comment. You're going to get 7 days free with this tool. I'm telling you guys, go check it out. I've been using Outlier for like 2 years now. One of my favorite partners to work with, and honestly, one of the best, if not the best, analytical and data-based tool out there. Go ahead and check it out. I promise you guys will love it. The worst thing that can happen is you sign up for the 7-day free trial being like, haha, I'm going to sleaze my way through this, just 7 days, and then screw it. You're going to fall in love with it. You're going to end up wanting to get it, which, it isn't a bad problem to have because it's only $19.99 per month for everything that we looked at in that screenshot there. $19.99 per month. You'll probably win more than you even have to expend on Outlier there. So go ahead and check it out. That link in the pinned comment. No code needed. Just use that link. It's also in the description as well. All right, St. Louis taking on Atlanta, and I didn't have the cojones to pull the trigger yesterday. I liked St. Louis with the plus money behind them, and I just could not get there. Today we have the Cardinals trotting out Kyle Gibson going up against the Atlanta Braves' Ronaldo Lopez. Both these pitchers, I don't necessarily mind. I mean, I like Lopez a lot more, but their offense has really, really struggled. I think I'm still okay with paying them minus 135 for them, but I'll say this. I can entirely understand someone that wants to roll with St. Louis for plus 120. So if that is of your liking and that is something you want to roll with, I don't see much of an argument against it. I'm just trusting Ronaldo Lopez in the spot and the better bullpen in Atlanta. So yeah, this is a weird one where I literally can, like, this is a coin flip type of a game, which usually in those instances, what I'm always telling you, right? Oh, if it's a coin flip, you might as well lean towards the plus money team. That argument makes sense, but I do think Lopez is a lot better than what we have from Kyle Gibson. Lopez hasn't allowed a run in 2 straight starts, and Kyle Gibson, I think he's coming off actually a 7-inning shutout, but it was against a Cubs team that was not feeling it. So it is what it is. I'm going to lean towards Atlanta here, but again, I'm saying I do understand if you guys roll with the oppo side of it. In terms of what we got from a total perspective, this isn't one that I love either way. We saw a 4-3 game yesterday. I'm hoping Atlanta's bats kind of show up a little bit more than they have. So I'll lean towards the over here, but it isn't my favorite spot overall. But you can get 8.5, which may be the move for plus money over on MGM rather than the 8. Like, go score 9 runs and you get plus money. Maybe that's the type of move, right? White Sox taking on the Dodgers. Shout out to Garrett Crochet. Through 5 innings, looked pretty good yesterday. Dodgers ultimately win the game 3-0. But you know what? I think Garrett Crochet is an absolute stud, man. He's a weapon. But nonetheless, we have I would call it a non-weapon on the mound today. Chris Flexen going up against Bobby Miller, who obviously Bobby Miller has the name people are excited about, but got hurt, then has 1 start back, kind of got shelled by Colorado. So I don't really know where to make out with this one. Like, I don't think that the Dodgers are worth the minus 250 price tag, right? But I don't know if I want to trust Chris Flexen to get to the plus 190 price tag. So I think in this spot, I'm just going to lean towards the over and hope that the Dodgers can kind of tee off on Flexen, and maybe the White Sox some way, somehow can put together some offense. So again, one of my least favorite spots on the board today, because I wanted to almost get to the White Sox, but man, you are an absolute psycho if you can get to the White Sox. The Dodgers offense is there, so it's probably, like, honestly, the smart play, which I'm a dummy, right? The smart play is probably Dodgers in some sort of a parlay, but if the Dodgers could change their name this year, I think I'd call them the Parlay Killers, because every time we've said that or we've ridden with them and they're a huge favorite, it's been like, so I'm going to go White Sox as a lean here, but trust me when I say it, this is probably not going to be a money line play. It's just a default lean, I guess, in a sense, because I don't think, actually, you know what, the way that I would phrase it is, I think I'm almost saying don't bet the Dodgers today. If they win, great, but you know what they could do? Blow up in your face and you lose it, because you expect them to go off against Chris Flexen, right? If anything, I would just take maybe the Dodgers team total in this spot, but you're probably not even getting a good price for that. In fact, let me check it out really quick. To get the Dodgers team total, I'm thinking like over 4.5 is probably the move, right? Dodgers team total here over 4.5 for minus 170, right? There just doesn't seem to be value in this spot, but that's the way I would play it if I needed to. You're also getting plus money for the over, just in general, that 9.5. So if that helps, maybe it does. But again, just can't find the value in this game because of the discrepancy in teams and sort of like the what's going to happen with Bobby Miller type spot. All right, next up, we got Kansas City taking on Miami. Seth Lugo on the bump for Kansas City, going up against, I think it was, Yoni Chirinos for Miami. I think that this is obviously probably a spot for Seth Lugo and Kansas City, but they are kind of priced out today, and I think it's a kind of get-right spot for Lugo. He's pitched fairly well in the last couple starts here, even against the Dodgers a couple starts ago, but nonetheless, I do think that this is just going to be a spot in which I like Kansas City, but you're probably going to have to lay either the run line full game or take a peek at the run line in the first 5. So keep an eye on the pinned comment. I could see us doing that today, trusting Lugo going first 5. Play that I really like, actually, is going to be the Nerfy, so under 0.5 in the first inning for plus 114. This is going to solely be based on Lugo. When he started this season, this has been a Royals team that has hit the Nerfy in 81% of games. Now, Chirinos on the other side is going to worry me a little bit because obviously he's not as good. So maybe we have a little bit of some worry, some here overall. His start against the Who did he pitch against? St. Louis in his start this year didn't look all that great, right? So I think he let up 3 runs or 2 runs in the first inning. So overall, this could be a spot in which I actually think the Miami scored now that I remember watching that. So maybe there's a good look, right? But overall, I'm worried about Kansas City being able to get to him. But nonetheless, still a spot in which I'm willing to gamble with that. I also don't mind the under in this spot either. I think that this is probably like a 5-3 game, 5-4 game maximum, which this total sitting at 9.5 seems just a little bit too high for me. I expect Lugo to have a good game today, so it's kind of based on that. So give me the Royals, probably first 5 run line. I like the under as well as the Nerfy in this game. All right, Milwaukee taking on Texas. Was wrong about this one yesterday. Actually, no, Milwaukee comes back and wins, right? So I was right about it yesterday. Let's go. I did not bet it myself, but didn't really look like it was all that great of a game, and I backed Freddie Peralta pretty hard and ended up not really being him that played well, right? Like I think they were 3-1 when he came out, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, guys, I think this is another spot for Milwaukee just based on the offense. We can look at the dashboard again. And by the way, if you guys want access to this dashboard, all you have to do is become a channel member. There should be a join button next to the subscribe button. If not, just search in the description for where it says become a baller. You get access to this dashboard, which breaks down each and every game via pitcher, their pitch mix, the batting last 30 days, their batting against those pitches, that type of thing. So go ahead and check it out. A great place to start your research if you kind of are one of those people that heads into a game being like, where do I start? I've put a lot of work into this. We built it ourselves. $2.99 a month. Become a baller. That's what we call our channel members today. But what I want to talk about here is this Texas offense, right? Look at the red. Like they're just bottom of the league against righties in the last 30 days in a lot of categories. I'm not saying Milwaukee's tremendous, but there are a little bit better. So if this is going to be an offensive game whatsoever, give me Milwaukee here on the money line. When it comes to a total, it's sitting at 9 right now. I'll lean towards the over as well. I could see a 5-4 game at minimum, meaning that would be a push. So that's the direction I'd lean in. I think I'd much more rather pull trigger on Milwaukee on the money line, though. Not much interest in this one. Houston, massive favorites over Colorado. Hunter Brown on the mound, who maybe he's starting to, get a little bit better. And they're in Houston, so it's not like you have to worry about Coors Field or Colorado, the altitude, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a spot in which I think I ride with Houston, but that would be some sort of money line parlay, of course, right? They're almost minus 300 favorites on most books. The total sitting at 8, though. This could be a spot for an over. I think that we could see, 6 runs from Houston today, so maybe we pivot to a Houston team total over. But again, I said it, not my favorite spot, and I always want to give you guys full transparency to that. Like, I don't fake confidence for content. Screw the guppies out there that are like, why do you even bother talking about it if you're not going to bet it? It's like, because I love talking about sports, and the format of the show is going through each and every game, whether I like the game, love the game, hate the game, despise, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to talk about it, but I'll tell you guys if I don't necessarily love it. Like, what if you're talking with a friend at a bar, and he starts talking about some topic, and you're like, no, I don't want to talk about that. What a loser, right? I'm talking about the games. It's the format of the show. If I don't like it, I'll let you know, but we'll still kind of give you what you need to know. That rhymed. But yeah, I like Toronto. I like Houston to be able to get to Gomber today. Go figure. In terms of what he's been against this team in the past, 51 plate appearances against, 271 average, slugging 403, WOBA 352. I think he's due to kind of let them have their way with him tonight. And again, this is at pause. And this is a Houston team that's won 7 of their last 10 games, and they've won, I think, 5 straight games, sweeping Baltimore, so they're probably feeling themselves a little bit. All right, we got the Angels taking on Oakland. I think this could be, and now we were wrong yesterday. I liked Oakland for the plus money, but the Angels may have a pitching advantage here with Mitch Spence over Ty Anderson, and they may even have a batting advantage here. In the last 30 days against lefties, they're top 10 in pretty much every category except K percentage. So as crazy as it is, I think I like Oakland for the plus 130 odds, plus 120 odds over on DK right now. I don't know how we're getting that price. Most other books around the plus 110, plus 105 mark. So this could easily be a spot in which we actually do pull the trigger. That said, you are still rolling the dice when you're betting Oakland, right? Like, they're not a good ball club, so it is still a questionable call. But I don't think the Angels are all that great. They've won 5 of the last 10. Oakland's only won 3 of their last 10. So it's like two teams are kind of mediocrity right now. Oakland being worse, but you're getting the price for it today. So give me Oakland here on the money line. In terms of the total, I still will lean towards the over. 4-3, 4-2, that type of a game is what I expect. to lean toward. Did I say over? I lean towards the under. I hope it said under. But I do think that this is going to be like, again, 4-3, 4-2 type of game. Mitch Spence hopefully goes out there and plays pretty well. Like, he hasn't been pitching all that poorly compared to some of the other guys on the staff. Ty Anderson, I know I talked about, I think Mitch Spence is better than him. Ty Anderson has been, like, kind of on fire. I'll give him that, but don't you think he's due for some regression? Like, if you look at his last 5 starts, he has one bad start in there, and it was against Houston, right? So it's like I think the dude is due, and wouldn't it be great if Oakland was the team to do it to him? Keep an eye on the pin comment to see if we end up rolling with this as a final play. All right, San Diego taking on Washington. We cashed Waldron's under and earned runs yesterday. I think we're kind of switching things up today and looking at the underdog Washington. Mackenzie Gore on the mound for them today. Been a little bit inconsistent as of late, but you could say the exact same thing about Adam Mazur, who's on the mound for San Diego. So for us to be able to get a plus money number next to Washington over on FanDuel, I think that is going to be the move, just strictly based on the pitchers. In terms of the total, I think this one finishes right around 8 runs, so it's a slight lean towards the over. I could see, maybe a 5-4 type of a game. I just don't think that Mazur is really going to be an absolute stud today overall. He's going to throw a fastball. Washington, top 12 team and runs above average against the fastball. If he goes to the slider, that's where they're going to struggle. But Mackenzie Gore throws like 70% fastballs. San Diego ain't the best fastball hitting team. So I think you have a little bit of good value here. San Diego also with righties in their lineup here. They have 1, 2, 3 with a switch, 4, 5. So I think they have 5 or 6 righties in their lineup. That's the hand that Mackenzie Gore seems to pitch well against. So another sort of feather in the cap for them. So give me Washington here on the money line, as well as a slight lean towards the over. Bullpen-wise, I think that, it might be a full game play worth that because both these bullpens are kind of middle of the pack. So we'll see. I could see this being a first 5 play where I'm really just trying to trust Mackenzie Gore, which we've faded him multiple times this year, but I'll trust him here today. All right, Arizona taking on Minnesota. I think it's going to be a good one. We have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound for the Diamondbacks, going up against Joe Ryan for Minnesota. I'm going to lean towards the Minnesota Twins in this spot. You're getting a really good price tag at -125, in my opinion, for, I would say, the better team. Their offense looks good against righties. They hit all the pitches that Pfaadt throws, which is good to see. The only kind of qualm here is that have they been tested as of late? They've played Oakland, Tampa Bay, then Oakland, right? Whereas Arizona's gone up against Washington and Philly for the last 3 games. So I guess you could just say Philly is the more daunting team, right? I don't want to really back Washington too much, even though we just bet them last game or leaned their way. But Minnesota with Joe Ryan on the mound seems like the spot for me. He just trusts him a little bit more than what we've got from Pfaadt. Both offenses are batting fairly well against the hand of the pitcher here, but I'm still going to lean under and trust that Joe Ryan gets the job done. In fact, it may be a first 5 team total under. I could see the Diamondbacks scoring 2 runs, so maybe if we can snag under 2.5 there. In fact, again, let's see if we can find the odds. Another great thing about Outlier, I know I already talked to you guys about it, but ready? In Outlier, right? You can go to match details on these games. I open it up in a new tab. You could say, okay, you can first off look at all the lines for the first 5, right? But we go to team props. Let's go to first 5 innings, and we can look at their runs. So you're getting under 1.5. So we'd want to stake out for an under 2.5 here. But they'll show you everything that's available. For example, right? You go to game team props. You can see runs. All of the odds available for under and overs for Minnesota's runs. So another really cool part of this Outlier tool. But nonetheless, that's the way that we would lean in terms of probably a full game under, but I do think Joe Ryan's going to have a good game. So first 5 under as well for the Arizona team total. But give me Minnesota on the money line. That's my favorite play in this spot. All right, San Fran taking on the Cubs. I don't know if we bet this one. We have a new pitcher on the mound, Weisenhunt for San Francisco. I don't know if this is exactly a good spot to try and say, hey, you know what? Well, he's going up against a pitcher, Kyle Hendricks, who hasn't looked good. Maybe you're getting some good value plus money. Haven't seen him before type of thing. Maybe. But to me, I'm going to trust the big league pitcher. Give me Chicago here on the money line. And when it comes to the total, I'll lean towards a slight lean towards the over because you never really know what you're going to get from a guy like Weisenhunt, right? Which I believe has been in the minors, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's made a big league start yet, so as far as I know. So you know what? Maybe they tag him up, and like I said, Kyle Hendricks has not been all that great. So why would we kind of trust him in an under spot? But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I feel like I've asked you guys to comment multiple things in today's video, but if you made it to this part of the video, go ahead and comment 33 because you're 33 minutes in. You are the real ones when I see that, and that literally keeps me going. Like when I see hundreds of comments a day with a 33 like this, it's like, wow, you guys, like, yes, we're getting tens, 10,000+ views on a video, but I see those comments of 33 and I'm like, those are the real ones. Those are the ones that we're grinding for, on vacation, making videos, that type of thing. So appreciate the hell out of you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.